This is gonna be Hawks VOD off YouTube. And we're gonna do the same thing we did with Ice. We're gonna do Why Did You Die? It's a wonderful game that we have going on here, okay? I forgot to do Shawnee's, but I'll just get another one from her. Because I know that you deserve better than the rank that you are right now, so there's something wrong that you need to do. I know this this YouTube video isn't that good of an example because we kind of just rolled all over them and destroyed them. So yeah.
Now.
Oh, wait.
Whatever you want. Ryan, what did I do? Zen, Brig.
What did you do?
Looking like goats, yeah.
Took
They're on
Logan.
yeah.
Base card.
They're on goats.
Whoa, whoa. That's being weird.
Yep.
Ryan's low.
They're bad?
Brig low.
Why is it doing that?
Let's get Brig, if you can.
Why is it being slow like that? That was weird. Okay, let's try that. Can't see
Push,
it
push,
well,
push.
but that's
No,
weird.
push out.
Reloading.
Zen's on the left of the truck. Yeah. They're regrouping. I got a charged shield.
Alright, yep. Halfway to grab.
Nice.
Alright, they're coming in.
Sorry, a half. Sorry, down.
Ryan low again.
They're all purple.
Oh shit. Out of position.
Ryan.
Nice.
Alright, they're coming in.
Sorry, a half. Sorry, down.
You see how far you step in front of Ryan here? You step really far in front. If they were any good, they would kill you because that's the only ability that's saving you from dying. Like, yes, you should use personal for a charge, but you should step a little bit in front of Ryan and then go back when you see damage coming in, like a fair rocket, soldier rocket, something like that, something that you know you'll be able to suck up instead of just walking into them in front of Ryan like that. They should have pushed you and you should have died.
Ryan low again.
They're all purple.
Straight ended up following you in though, so I guess that's good.
Oh,
But be careful on that.
Push them.
I'm back.
Come
Brig
back.
one.
to
That's one
me.
really
I
easy
can
way to
heal you.
die.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
Good. All right. I can heal you now.
77 to grab.
They're sticking with goats.
Oh, yeah, they're coming for me. Alright,
Sorry,
move
just
this
stay
round
high ground. They
down.
can't touch you.
I'm gonna shatter when I see an opportunity.
If I can, hey,
I've got
can
dragons.
I get an orb behind you? You.
Ryan down. Break above.
Brig down.
Nice shield.
Getting the Lucio. He's going
Let
up
baby
top.
diva
Actually,
beat.
that might have been a little bit late.
Ryan down. Break above.
Brig down.
So what you should do is you should shield Ryan during the animation, so you guys need to communicate more, because he can get, you know, flashed, stunned, something like that during the animation, but if you shield him during it, that won't happen. So you shielded him a little bit late there. You guys need to be communicating more. You need to be like a single... Like, off-tank and tank need to be like a single unit. The DPS can kind of do their own thing, but tanks and supports need to be always... Supports need to be healing each other and keeping each other safe, and the tanks need to be pushing up forward and taking space together. That's the only way you're getting able to do that. You can't do it one person can't do it. You have to do it with both of you.
He's going
Let
up
baby
top.
diva
You guys
beat.
generally
Let
do a
baby
good
diva
job of
beat.
that, but make sure it's constant.
Coming back down.
Okay.
Because he could have gotten Brig stunned there and Shadow would have been cancelled, so be careful.
They're still up top. Yeah.
Lucio's up top. The only
Hang on,
one.
Brig, walk back a little. Gotcha.
Alright, I have grab now.
Widow. Oh, Hanzo top. Widow top. Widow Hanzo, watch out.
Play around corners.
Let me know if they go into the
Good
the
call,
hotel.
good call.
Hanzo went into the hotel.
Okay.
They have some ults.
They-
Here. Probably have shatter. They might have
Okay,
a rally.
Dan, watch out. For whoever's
No,
over
they
there, I
swapped
can't
their
see.
Brig.
Yeah, he's coming up on you, Dan. I'm coming to help.
Hanzo
Coming in with beat.
super low.
Top low. Got him.
I'm dropping down.
Be really careful when going inside the team like that with no shield.
Oh, I'm dropping down.
Top low.
Hanzo
Coming in with B.
super low.
Top low.
Like right
I'm
here,
down.
once Grav ends and you don't have shield and you're half health, you could still die here with full charge. And then they'd have better spawns and they'd have a chance to cap point.
Dropping down.
So again, if they weren't a garbage team, you probably should have died here. Because there's a Lucio,
Oh,
there's a
shit.
Diva, and a Zenyatta that should have killed you.
Lucio coming around the point.
He's behind us.
Next time they push, Jan throw Bob.
Lucio.
Oh, thank you.
Big kills.
Huge stagger, actually.
Can't quite kill you there, Dan.
Oh, I reversed
Like that. Like that. You use shield and then you can't back up to Ryan.
Straight on
Too far
bubbles.
forward.
I got bubble on. Okay.
So far, I'm noticing bubble timing and being a little bit too aggressive. Being aggressive as Zarya is good, but you have to know when and where you can do that sort of stuff.
I've got bubbles.
Hanzo going
They
hotel.
should have Shatter and
Sorry,
Diva bomb.
Hanzo going up top left again. See him?
What do I have to
You
do?
gotta-
I can't really
I was
do
gonna
much
say,
stand
I
out
can't
in the
get you if
open.
you're in there. You gotta,
I can't really
I
do
was
much
gonna say,
stand
I
out
can't
in the
get you if
open.
you're in.
If you got discorded there and then headshot, you would have died. It's another positioning problem.
There.
Oh no!
It's alright.
Oh shit.
We're good, we're good, we're good.
Oh no!
It's alright.
Oh shit.
We're good, we're good, we're good.
Alright.
That shield wasn't necessary. All that shield did was gain you charge. That shield didn't really stop anything.
Alright.
Oh no!
It's alright.
When they're pushing in like that, you can't use shields for charge anymore. When they push in on you, you have to use the charge to save yourself and save a teammate.
Oh shit.
We're good, we're good, we're good.
Alright.
Both of your shields there should have been used to block shatter.
Ryan low. Diva, 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 diva.
Watch the Hanzo on the left. Good Bob.
Hanzo one. Got him. Oh, just kidding.
Got nano.
Okay,
on
yo.
your back.
My arrow keys aren't working.
Reloading.
We're good. We don't have Lucio to taxi. Okay. We're good.
Big job. Oof. Words are hard. Grab dragon.
Alright.
As soon as they try to push the choke, do it.
Yeah, I'll just
I got nano
be
right
careful
too.
because they got a diva. So,
Yep.
Sleepy. Hit me, Zen. Goddamn.
Zen's one. Ana down.
their
Ryan,
tanks are going through hotel.
Dragons on main.
Oh, try it.
I got their tanks.
Diva sluts. I'm low, I'm low, I'm low.
We're good.
Dead.
We're good.
So here's the dealio on shields, right? So I play a lot of Ana, and Ana is very similar to Zarya in the fact that her abilities are extremely important, but they can also be used for ult charge and for you the charge on your gun, right? Before fights start, before say that they're regrouping and they're still down one, if I know that, I can throw my sleeps and I can throw my nades pretty willy-nilly as I see it. But once they've regrouped and once I know they have ult, then I have to save those to sleep shatter, sleep barrage, that kind of stuff, right? Or anti a trance, something like that, right? So you have to know when they're about to push for when you have to save your shields, right? Before a fight, you can use your shields however you want. You can use it to gain charge. But once they see that you use shield and they're about to push, they're going to be more aggressive and they're going to have more of a chance of winning that fight because of those 200 damage shields are completely gone. If that makes sense. So not only is your job to deal a lot of damage, but in this specific comp, you're not playing Goat's Zarya, right? Goat Zarya is like DPS Zarya. in this sort of comp, you don't have to be the one that deals damage. You have to be the one to... You have to deal damage to build grav, but that's pretty much it, right? The only... You and Ryan, your job is to stay and keep the space so that the DPS can keep doing what they're doing, right? So if you... Here's... Okay, you ready for amazing drawing? Here we go, alright? So here's... Okay. we're gonna try that again, okay? So, if Ryan is up here, right, holding his shield, okay? And then you're right behind him. I don't know why you're so short, but you are. And then your DPS are up here, up high ground, right? Shooting down. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want, right? But if they start pushing in on you, and you're forced to go backwards, this is no longer that great of an advantage because they can, at that point, push on to the high ground, right? If, say, there's like a flank route behind, they can go behind and onto the high ground, right? But if you hold up front, if you're able to keep up front and keep shield up and all that stuff, then you'll be golden. You'll be good to go. So your job in this comp is to just hold that space and hold the front line so that the DPS can do their job, right? And goats, you're kind of the star, the DPS, but in this comp you're not. You kind of got to realize what your job is in each comp and play to that job, right? Okay.
We're good.
Big boys.
Got 6 health.
Big
Let's
plays.
go, dude.
Yes, sir.
Gosh, I hate my
Yeah.
Oh,
voice.
I got sweaty
I'm
hands.
stoked about.
It's so hideous, bro.
Oh my god, Hawk.
Tommy.
One. Watch out for the Hanzo.
Sorry.
Oh, I got melted.
Left. Oh.
Alright,
They
they got a widow.
Widow top left.
That was actually a good shield because you blocked damage that was going towards Ryan, so that was a good one.
Got her.
Nice.
Okay, alright, come in.
Oh, I got melted. You guys
Ryan's
can push
purple,
it.
Ryan's one, he's
purple.
one.
Ryan.
Nice.
Okay, alright, come in.
Widow.
What'd you use? Oh, that's right, the
Oh.
top row.
They
You
got
got
a
a
widow.
widow.
Widow top.
Ryan, I forgot about
left.
that. I
Got
was
her.
wondering why you didn't have shield.
Alright, come in.
Oh, I got
Straight-
melted. You guys can
Ryan's
push
purple,
it.
Straight goes
Ryan's
issues
one,
with fire
he's
strikes.
One.
Zarya next.
Hanzo low.
Zarya on point. Zarya.
Good calls,
Watch
good
out for the
calls.
Hanzo.
Zarya one.
He slept. He's up. He's one.
Honest
The
low.
last
Purple,
one.
purple. He's one. Oh my god, Hawk.
Tommy.
If somebody's low like that, you don't have to track them. You just have to shoot a grenade at their feet. They're gonna die because it's such a big range when you're at a high energy like that. Not next patch, obviously, but next patch, whatever. But if they're that low, just shoot a grenade at their feet. Don't even bother trying to track them. There you go.
I'm down, but we should win this.
We're good.
3 on point. Big wins. Oh, did we?
No.
Then I shot her in the face.
Because playing
Where-
against double snipers aids. Also, Ice carried you guys super hard. He played like a monster. I hate my voice, bro.
I'm gonna stand in the window until you
I've watched this VOD so many times, and every single time I just want to vomit every single time I hear my voice.
guys what they have.
The spawn doors and tell you what.
I'm in the back left at all.
I think it's.
On the left side.
I don't think I've watched the front
Yeah,
line
it's goats
on
again.
this
Oh,
VOD,
I got boot.
on the Hanamura VOD.
Charging.
We're good. Push.
Ryan's low.
Push their low.
Steve out of mech.
Oh.
Oh, somebody left.
Someone left.
Is this the long pause?
We have been most.
Every game we played in this.
Yeah, it is.
Probably a good idea if your computer can
Always.
handle it.
Do it. If
Ready.
has
Yeah.
a problem, then that-
2,
Yeah.
Moving mouse.
1.
Yeah.
Reloading.
It's a baby diva on the left, I think.
I have bubble.
Just
Alright,
leave her,
got
just
some
leave her.
bubble.
Reloading.
They have an Orisa? Oh, they had. Oh, they're just getting the mech. It's still goats.
High ground, right?
You're just sitting here with high energy. You're like me, right? You're trying to think and you're trying to play the game at the same time. It's a balance between the two. You're trying to talk about comps and stuff, but you're at high energy right now, so you need to be hucking grenades to try to get grav. So be careful about that. I was watching my VODs yesterday, and my APM was so low, bro, when I was trying to shot call. I would stop shooting completely when I was talking, and that can't happen. I can't do that, and neither
Left
can you.
side. I got shatter.
Sorry, I won.
We don't need it.
I liked the play I liked the way you played the back end of that fight, but the front end of that fight was not good. Right if there, you can
It still
see them
goes.
coming in, and you're at 75 charge. You should be
Left side.
launching nades over there. They'd be a little bit low by the time that they came in. I like the way you played this though. A little bit
Yeah,
behind
sure.
Ryan.
Sorry, I won.
We don't need it.
I like that for sure.
The player's on fire.
Killed him a little.
They have a sim.
Oh,
they have a
we
sim.
were on
Ready
fire?
for sim strat? Yes,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
ready for sim
Back,
strat.
back to
I'm
point.
gonna- I'm gonna
This was a really good call, by the way.
Yeah, just come to point then. We'll play on point then.
I'm not gonna necessarily play on point myself, but yes.
I'm gonna play left.
They're here, they're here, they're here.
How are you on grab? 86. Cool.
There's a teleporter up.
Feel free to throw it whenever you're ready.
Help!
Huge.
Help! Help!
Stagger Diva.
Lever, lever, lever.
I slapped her, I slapped her. There we go.
Body blocker off the edge.
That was really
Alright,
sad.
Still have sim.
They're running sim goats-ish.
Yeah, if
They
they
don't have
move
enough
into the
healing for
point,
goats.
throw Bob onto the point.
Woo! Oh shit.
Yeah.
Alright, she's aiming at me back here.
You're launching grenades now at the start of the fight when you have grav and you're low energy. Why? You didn't do it when you didn't have grav and high energy, and now you're doing it when you have 0 energy and grav. So all you're doing right now is feeding support ults, right? There's no point in you when you're not being aggressive as a team. There's no point in you tagging people with grenades because you have gravs and they're building support ults off of you.
Just one charge. I want to be able to
Your grenades
laser.
do not
They're
do
gone.
There's a
damage.
teleporter. They're guarding it. Yeet.
I'm melting.
Ryan's one.
Don't tunnel vision
On
like
point.
that.
Sim.
Break. I
Get
gotta
the
stay
break.
back because of the break.
Bring low.
Look at
On
this.
point.
Look at this.
I'm melting.
Ryan's one. Yeah.
You just sit here the whole time staring at this.
I want to be able
You sit here staring at this teleporter while your Ryan is on the front
to
line.
laser. They're gone.
There's a teleporter. They're guarding it.
Your Ryan's right there behind you and he needs a shield.
Yeet.
You just
I'm
sit here
melting.
and stare at this thing and
Ryan's
tunnel
one.
vision on it. Stray should have died there for sure.
On point.
Because you weren't there for
Stray.
him. Thankfully Shawnee had
Stay
enough
back.
heals for him and
Stay
pumped him.
Low.
Oh man.
Don't kill Baby Diva.
Oh.
You should kill Baby Diva in a fight like this. Because there's enough people on point to where she could get mech back and then possibly win the fight after that. So you should absolutely kill her here. So the only time you shouldn't kill her is when you know that you've already won the fight, right? And that kind of comes with experience and time, knowing when you win the fight. But in generally, right now, you can see that you got mech, but you got their mech, but you also lost Ryan, is what I was trying to say. So they have a chance at winning this
Just
for
as
sure.
a general rule of thumb.
Uh,
Unless it's 2 CP and we're losing
sorry.
percentage because of it, don't do it.
But
See,
she
look
got
at that.
Eventually kill the baby
Sleeping
diva.
diva?
'Cause She will get mech
Yeah.
back.
Look at that. You could have killed her, but she got mech back and went back to her team so that they can get support ultis now. Did you see that? It's exactly what I just said would happen.
Just
Not exactly, but you get the point.
Zarya's on the
The fight
left.
was too
I mean right.
prolonged, so
Zarya's
she
on
ended up
right.
getting mech back.
Oh, shit.
Coming
hang on
back with
a second.
shatter.
Wait, I need that one.
thank you.
I need
Oh,
it.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay, they're all fucking shooting at me back here though. Fuck off
Nah.
with your turrets!
Where are they?
I got them.
Make
They're just
them.
trying to pin me in here. Alright, I got Nano again.
Huge.
Oh my god, straight. Jesus.
Yeah, they were all just standing there.
So they had families.
I mean, they were just sitting there.
True.
Some dreams.
I was just-
They were just standing there, bro.
Alright, I got
I've
Nano
never
again.
seen this POV.
Huge.
They were
Oh
legit
my
just
god,
standing there.
straight. Jesus.
What the heck?
True.
Okay,
around.
okay. When you see them in that, if they come in time,
like
when you
every
see them in
hour.
that, grab them through the wall.
Yeah, I got it.
That's enough. Hey.
Oh, I got fucked up.
Alright. Sim on point.
What?
Sleeping Diva?
What the
Sim
heck
on
just
point.
happened?
What?
Diva? Diva slept? Oh,
Ryan won.
No, 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 no!
Oh, he got.
Oh,
Wait,
and
did he
so
get booped up by
sweet.
Bob? I
Fuck.
can't even tell. That was amazing.
We're good, we
What
win.
just happened?
We win.
What happened?
I'm Baby Diva and Zarya.
And Zen. I win.
Oh,
I win,
baby.
I win, I win.
Let's go.
Big shot in the air.
Nice.
Oh, there's two of
Is that
you.
a 20-player
Lucio,
kill
Lucio.
streak? I think that was.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
all
do you
dead?
lose this?
Oh, there's two of you on point.
You guys go. I'm almost back. I'm back in about 5.
Dude, look at Ice going
Ah,
in and then
fuck.
dies. Nice.
Alright, watch out. There's a Hanzo right at the point.
Coming.
I don't know how you stayed alive during all that.
Sleeping Diva? Diva. What? Sleeping Diva? Diva. What?
As great of a grab as that looked like, it wasn't good. And I think you know that because there was enough people on point and enough people on your team that weren't there that couldn't support it. So it, like if they didn't have a Rhine right, if they were running like dive or whatever, it could have been good. But he's just gonna block everything that you try to do. So it ends up being pointless, and you end
Back
up
up to
wasting
the
grab.
left. I got Lucio on me. I'm down.
Oh, for
Lame.
fuck's sake.
Give it, give it, give it.
Yeah, back up.
So what you guys should have done, right?
I'm down.
Okay, let's go to the beginning
Two.
of this fight. It's the longest fight ever.
Diva slap.
Keep
Okay,
digging around.
okay. To the wall.
Just come.
Let's go over why you lost
3,
the fight.
2,
They're
1 now.
teleporting.
Grab him to the wall.
A shield to come up.
They didn't expect you to peek
Okay,
dig around.
okay. When you see them in that, if they come in time,
like
when you
every
see them in
all.
that, grab them to the wall.
Yeah, got it.
You guys are talking about your ult, which is great. That's a big improvement from what it used to be. But you weren't talking about their ults, and you should know that they have their support ultis by now. So you're using 2 ults for 1.
Damn it, they didn't come fast.
No,
enough.
I'll
Hold on.
hear
They end
it.
up
I'll hear
using
it. I'll
China
hear it.
Just come fast enough. Hey.
3, 2,
They're
1 now.
teleporting.
Oh, I got fucked up.
Alright.
So Ice has a horrible positioning error here that makes him end up dying. So
Sim on point.
What?
Sleeping Diva. Diva slap.
Rhine
no,
one.
no, 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 no,
so it's still possible
Oh,
for you guys to
I'm
win
so
this. You guys are
sweet.
playing this well.
no.
We're good, we win. We win.
What happened?
I'm
You
Baby
had your
Diva.
shield. You had your shield.
We're good, we
Rhine
win.
died.
We win.
What happened?
I'm Baby Diva and Zarya.
And Zen. I win.
I win.
And Zen. We win.
What happened?
Where's Cruiser doing
Oh,
all
and
this?
so
What?
Sleeping Diva. Diva slap.
Rhine
no,
one.
no, 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 no.
Oh, he was in the back.
Oh, and so sweetie. Fuck.
We're good, we win. We win.
What happened?
I'm Baby Diva and Zarya.
And Zen. I win.
I win.
2 teammates of yours died when you had shield. You were too focused on killing people that you weren't focused on winning the fight, right? Winning the fight requires that your team stays alive. Even if you frag out here and kill everyone, you still are probably going to lose anyway, right? Because they have such good spawns. So if you would have shielded either Krujar or Stray, you would have had a much better chance of winning this fight.
Big shot in the air.
Lucio.
Lucio barely got on point, bro.
Yeah, we're all dead?
Oh, there's two of you on point.
You guys go. I'm almost back. I'm back in about 5.
Ah, fuck.
Alright, watch out. There's a Hanzo right at the point.
Coming.
Sleeping Diva. Diva. What?
That D.Va just hard fed you grab, bro. And you end up wasting it.
Oh fuck, I'm low. I'm backing off to the left. I got Lucio on me.
So you killed 2 of your teammates by tunnel visioning. And then you wasted Grav.
I'm down.
I want to see...
I'm backing off to sleep. About 5.
I win.
I win.
Big shot in the air.
Lucio.
I don't know how Dan died
They
there.
were all dead?
No, there's 2 of you on point.
You guys go. I'm almost back. I'm back in about 5.
Ah, fuck.
So Ice died to positioning. Dan died because of his own stupidity by getting hit by a fire strike. And Stray and Stray / Crewjar died because you didn't shield them. So that means if any 3 of you didn't make a mistake, then you probably would have kept this point. Right? But as far as you are concerned, the only thing that you can do is your own play, right? And as far as you are concerned, you missed your ally shield and you killed 2 teammates. Right? So at this point, right, it looks like you're gonna lose.
Alright, watch it.
But they don't have a tick yet. So what you can do is you can back up and wait for spawns. I doubt they're gonna
The Han's right at
be able to hold it though. So you could back up and wait for spawns possibly. If you could just stay on
Sleeping
point,
Diva?
right? If you can contest, and then you can wait for your team, and then you can grab. Because when you grab here, they only have 1 tick. Right? The only tick that matters is the last one.
I'm low. I'm backing off to the left.
So it was great of you to
I got
contest
Lucio on
that.
me.
They didn't even know that you were there,
Oh,
really.
for
Lame.
fuck's sake.
Give it.
So
Yeah, back up.
you either could have waited, because Crewjar and Shawnee died after you. Meaning, if you were able to stay alive and contest point, you would have been able to. There would have been probably 5 people that would have contested with you, and you might have been able to win that fight with Grav, right? So, that's judging on, again, when a fight is over, and when a fight is winnable. When a fight isn't winnable and when it is, basically. So. Here, let me. So, here's point A, right? Okay. And here is attack spawn. Okay. And way over here is defense spawn. Okay. And then point B is right here, right? Okay. So on point A, trades favor the attackers, right? Because if suddenly they get a pick and it's 5v5, whoops. So say both snipers kill each other, something like 2 Hanzos, they kill each other, right? It's 5v5. But their spawn is close enough to the point where when this Hanzo's about here getting maximum spawn, their Hanzo's already on point. Okay. So their Hanzo still got this much to go, right? Before he actually touches point. So trades favor the attackers on attack, right? But on second point, it's the opposite, right? Trades favor the defense on second point. For the same reason, but in reverse, right? Because by the time that this Hanzo dies, right, he only has to go this far, but the time that this Hanzo dies, he has to go this far, right? So when you guys were on point, so let's run through this fight one by one. I know this was a cat incident, but even then, this fight was extremely
Damn it,
winnable.
they didn't come fast
No,
enough. Hold
I'll
on.
hear it.
3, 2. I got fucked up.
So Ice dies, okay? It goes from 6v6 to 5v6. 5 to 6, okay? And this is his spawn over here, okay?
Sim on point.
What?
Sleeping Diva? Diva slapped. Oh,
Ryan
no,
won?
no, 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 no.
Ryan and Sim die, okay? And Shawnee. So Ryan and Sim die, and Shawnee. By this point, Hanzo will be respawning, so he'll be about here, okay?
No! Oh, Enzo, sweetie, fuck.
We're good, we win. We win.
Okay? Brig dies and your Rhine dies. Brig dies, Rhine dies.
Baby Diva and Zarya.
And Zen. I win.
Okay, Diva dies. But these three are already on their way back to point. Hanzo is also on his way back to point, but he's way farther away. So he's probably about here, right?
I win.
Okay, you also kill Zarya, and then Krujar dies as well. So these two are probably about here. And then there's Zarya dies.
I win.
Big shot.
And then there's Zen dies. So at this point, these two are almost to point. Okay. Or no, sorry, this is the attacking team. They're about here, right? Ice is going to be close. So he's probably like at that archway right now. And these two are walking over. These three are going to be on point. Right? They died first in the fight. And then, or he died first and they died first on their team. But they're going to get back about the same time as he did because of how spawns work, right? And these two are probably like over here.
Got in the air.
Lucio.
So that Brig that died changed to Lucio. Or no, it was the Sim that died changed to Lucio. And then ended up getting to point, right?
We're all dead.
And then Dan dies.
No, there's two of you on point.
Good God.
So right now the three people that died are now back on point. And Ice is also on point, okay? Yeah. And then these two are going to be coming up on point here pretty soon. This person's on their way. And these two have probably started. These two are almost on their way. They're probably through the archway right now and headed on to point.
I'm almost back. I'm back in about 5.
Ah, fuck.
Which is what you see. You can see Brig throwing an armor pack.
Watch it. There's a Hanzo right at the point.
Coming.
And by the time you wrap around here, Diva gets here. And now I think there's 5 of them on point, 5 or 6. While your team is still respawning at this point, right? So by the time this whole fight ends, everybody on both teams is going to be back on point by the time that it reaches that third tick, right? So by the time that it reaches back around to that third tick, if you still had Grav, everyone on your team would be respawned and their team would also be respawned. Okay, so it would be like a second fight.
Sleeping Diva? Diva. What?
So if you were to just sit here at the backup point and just wait for your team while contesting, you'd be set, bro. But instead, you're waiting on these 3 and these 2. These 3 are really close, and they're coming up, too. I think you can see them in the archway right here. They're really close. While they're already... I forgot this person, but all of 6 of them are already on point, even though that you died at relatively the same time. Right? Yes? Does that all make sense? Okay, so if you would have just waited for Grav for these people to get up, if you would have just waited for them to get up, you would have been fine. But instead, you wasted Grav, so the second fight that you guys are having is now coming in split, where you could have regrouped and taken the point, and not have to deal with second point. Yes? Smile. Okay. So now that they're all back on point, and you guys are going to stagger in, the fight's going to now be over because one by one they're all going to die, while all 6 of them are on point. Okay.
I'm low. I'm backing off to the.
So you kind of see how that works. Like, you gotta analyze, like, while you're doing Zarya stuff, right? You gotta watch the kill feed, see who dies analyze who's going to be there at what time, and then analyze, are we going to win the fight? Are we not going to win the fight? Who's going to be there? When are they going to be there? Do we have enough ults to win the fight? Do they have the ults to win the fight? And all this needs to be going through your head while you're fighting, right? And I know that's a lot to do, but that's just how Overwatch is. That's why I love this game. There's so much going on.
I got Lucio on me.
So at this point, you lose.
down.
So all that I just did would be the shot caller's job. But you have to be able to understand that principle. And I'll probably save this VOD for the team to watch.
Okay, they're running
Going,
they're running goats. They're running goats.
Going up top.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they're up here.
Yeah, I'm sitting in my corner. Just go keep towards the edge if you can.
Fuck. I fucked up.
Brigno bash.
Rallying in.
Be careful, Stray.
God damn!
Got the
Get this
Reinhardt.
Lucio off me.
Back.
I didn't get to see that fight. I saw this fight from the DPS.
Be careful, Stray.
God damn!
Got the
Get
Reinhardt.
So when you guys see, when you hear the rally, right?
Brigno
Keep towards the edge if you can.
Fuck. I fucked up.
Brigno bash.
Right there. When you hear the rally, there's 3 of you up here. 1, 2. There's a Zen right there. 1, 2, 3 of you up here. And there's 6 of them right there. With armor, ready to fight you. You lose that every time. Because it's a 6v3. They have double the players that you have. So what should have happened, right, is you hear the rally. You go, okay, we're going to lose this fight up top, so we need to drop the point, okay? So normally without rally, right, you could kind of contest them a little bit, and the snipers can kind of get behind them and tag them a little bit from behind and kind of irritate them a little bit. But once they have that Brig armor, they're going to be set to go. No one can really be one shot at that point. So once they start ulting and being aggressive, I want to see you guys back up to point to let the DPS do what they're going to do, because they're in position right now. They're ready to go.
Rallying in.
And Shawnee, you can see her shots flying right here. That's Shawnee's bullets. Okay. She's down by point as well. So you guys going down this hallway is suicide. You will lose that fight if you go down the hallway. If you touch the point, Shawnee can heal you, and Ice and Dan can take time to land their shots on the people that are now falling down the point, right? If they're on high ground, right, and you guys fall the point, if they're falling one by one, right, somebody's going to be midair and they can get shot by Dan and Iceberg, right? And when they're on the point, if they follow you guys onto point and everybody else and both your snipers are up on high ground. So, okay, so let me... That's too far. So let's say this right here is the high ground, right? And this is point. Okay. And this is the high ground on the other side. Okay. This is that little balcony where Ice is right now. And I think Dan's up there as well. I think Ice is down. So here's point, right? And here's that archway where I think Ice is right now, and I think Dan is up here. Okay. So they're set. Both of them are ready for you guys to jump on point. So when you guys are up here and you go down this hallway, okay? When you guys go down this hallway right here, Ice loses sightlines completely. Dan loses sightlines completely. And Shawnee, who's over here in the corner by point, also loses sightlines completely. Right? So you've got to be careful of where you go and when. So if you guys were to drop to point here, right? And then they followed you onto point, okay? That leaves Ice with a completely clear sightline. That leaves Dan with a completely clear sightline, as well as Shawnee. They're all set and ready to go for this fight that starts. but you guys back up so far into a different area that they lose sight lines and the fight starts really poorly. If that kind of all makes sense, right? If you drop into point and making them follow is advantageous for you. Because all they have is, I think, a D.Va, and D.Va can only block one of these 3 people. If she chooses to go on Dan, then Ice and Shawnee are able to shoot for free. If she decides to go for Shawnee, then Dan and Ice can shoot everybody for free. And then vice versa going for Ice, right? So knowing where your teammates are and where they're set up is vital in this comp. Because you have to know where their sightlines are and where you can be in order to be protected.
Be careful, Stray.
God damn!
Got the Reinhardt. Dead.
Back.
Once they rallied, we should have backed up. That was on me.
That's exactly. But you guys should have backed up on a point. So you see how Dan is already picking people off? They were ready on point.
We're good.
I think that's Ice on point.
purple?
who jumped
Ryan, everybody
point
on
like a
Ryan.
moron. Yeah.
I have Nano as soon as I get.
But you see how you guys died one by one there? So now you're going to be spawning in one by one, which is fine on a 2CP map, but they have only one person on the team died right now, so they have 5 people. And they're running goats, so they've got enough sustain to last.
And
And I think you
Touch,
guys
touch,
end up
touch.
holding this
Good.
somehow.
There you go. There you go.
What?
Dragon's on point, coming.
Oh, it's because of
Big
trans, that's why.
All right, coming in with Nano.
That's a good
They're
swap.
in.
Make sure it's faster than that
On the
though.
Reinhardt. Rein's 1.
If you're going to swap, do it immediately so that you don't waste any time.
Ryan 1. D.Va next.
The D.Va.
Break.
Got him back. Break
D.Va. Alright, I'm going back to Zarya.
Yeah, Ice. Ice is so good sometimes, but then sometimes he's just a complete trash can. Really just so inconsistent, it's unbelievable.
Where do you want to set up? If you're going up top, I'm gonna have to come with you because I lost sight lines real fast.
Now we're only.
Corner then.
They go on top.
You guys should... Okay. So if... I haven't explained this before. I think I have. But if you're up on higher ground, right? And they go mid. Okay, you choose when to fight. Okay? Because you're on higher ground and they're below you. So you can kind of wait until they use abilities, until they use something, until they... D.Va jumps on one of your DPS, and then you can go, right? You choose when they fight. If you sit on the low ground and they're on the high ground, they get to choose when to fight. They get to wait for the abilities. They get to wait for the animate and the sleep, and then they can go in. Right? If you're holding up here with them, they have to use abilities in order to get through you, right? And then get on the point. So they're not going to have everything available when they take high ground. They're going to lose some abilities trying to get up there, like they did with Rally, right? Or I think they also used like Zarya Shield or something like that, right? So you force them into a position that's bad, right? And here's the... You guys should never be on point once you win the fight. Of course, you need to be on point to cap it, obviously. But once you cap a point, stop. Leave. Go away. Go somewhere else. Because that point is... It's not going anywhere. It's not going to start ticking down by itself, right? It's going to be fine. You now have the opportunity to get into a better position. Because... You ready for this big brain stuff in here? Okay. So, positioning over the enemy team is greater than the objective. Okay. Why is that, you say? Because of all the stuff that we just went over. Because even if they were to go mid, right, and they were to get a tick on point while you guys were fighting and stuff, and then Dan and Ice were able to have really good positioning and able to pick people off, and they get a pick and then you guys get on point, you now win that fight even if they have better ults. If they have 6 ults and they decide to go mid, right, and you guys just sit there and wait, and then Dan and Ice just start, popping, and then Stray gets a nice flame strike off, whatever, and then you send somebody to contest point, and then, once it gets low, and the fight continues like that, right? But because you are on high ground, you get a better angle on the fight, you get a better view, and your snipers get a better position, right? So, I'm not explaining this very well, but you get the point, right? To where if you have the objective, then you have the opportunity to get into a better position, right? You can take that opportunity to get in an advantageous spot, like, Shawnee can climb up to high ground somewhere, you three can head up to point, or you can head onto the archway and start tagging people, right, and then go up high ground, whatever. But if you sit on point, you allow them to get into the position that they want to be in. You want to force them into a position that they don't want to be in. Okay? Okay. I'm just going to finish this game and then I'm going to wrap it up.
Staying in the back right corner then?
They're going top left.
Alright, they're going top left.
I
I almost have
it looks
Shatter.
like the Zarya fell, so they might not.
Okay. They might have Grab soon. And Diva Bomb.
Not, Ryan's coming up left.
Possibly Trance. Yeah, they're all coming up here.
Watch out for
Lucio up here.
He's on fire.
Ryan's half.
You see how when you were up here, you forced abilities out of them to get towards you?
Ryan's low.
Ryan low.
Watch out for
Lucio up here.
They use boosters, they use Matrix,
He's on fire.
they use Zarya Shield here. And Stray ends up hitting a
Ryan's
nice
half,
shatter,
Ryan's low.
Ryan
so
low.
it just ends the fight right then
Zen
and there
low.
because they position poorly.
Zarya.
But if you were to drop on point at that point, they'd be down in abilities. Okay?
Push the Zen. Nice.
Mom wants you to come over to our house with me so we can get Packer and bring him here. And then we can go on a walk with him.
Give me a second. Let me finish. Give me like 10 minutes. Alright.
Time for me to back the fuck up.
So this is really good for me, guys. You're
Right side?
getting into
Can
a
I get
position that is advantageous for you
Go take a look.
instead of sitting up.
No, they're coming left again.
Alright. Oh god.
Alright, watch for their ults. They should have a decent amount.
I'm holding dragons for grab.
They should have Shatter.
Reinhardt coming main?
Beep, 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 beep. They're gonna pause.
Oh,
Pause and incoming.
Never
Never
mind.
mind.
Okay.
Oh,
It's just that short pause. Yeah.
Upper left?
help.
Oh shit.
Alright,
It's a
back
little
up
bit
to
aggressive
point.
there. Be careful.
Off
Oh.
the rally.
Ryan's
Somebody's on point.
purple.
The Lucio is on point.
oh,
He did.
fuck.
Left Ryan. Oh god. Okay, Lucio's coming for me.
Watch
Dead.
out for that bomb.
Yeah, I was gonna be able to avoid it.
Left Ryan.
Help.
Oh shit.
Alright, back up to point.
So you see how you and Stray are separated? That's not good.
Off
Oh.
the rally.
Ryan's
Somebody's on
purple.
point.
They can now
Lucio's
push on
on
you,
point.
and you don't have Stray there.
Oh,
did.
fuck.
Left Ryan. Oh god. Okay, Lucio's coming for me.
Watch
Dead.
out for that bomb.
Yeah, I was gonna be able to avoid it.
Stray, I got Brig on me though.
If you can hold on, coming back with grab.
Fight on point. Fight on point. Everybody's got to fight on
Brig's
point.
half.
Zen
Do-
is low.
Don't die with ults. Don't die with ults.
I keep getting booped off, dude.
God.
Unlucky. We're good. We're good.
We're good. We got it.
So, the rest of this is just, I'm assuming the same stuff, so I'm just gonna end it there. But you kind of see what I was talking about, of how you could have not taken first point, or how you could have not lost like 2 and almost 3 ticks on this last point. You almost lost it, but you didn't somehow. Right? So right now what I'm noticing is bubble timing. For the BT. So when to use bubble aggressively, and for charge, when to use it, when to save it to save your teammates, when to use it on teammates at certain times, like during a shatter. Some, you know, there's other examples during a barrage, whatever. If fair are barrages, you want to do it kind of in the middle, because that's the time that they'll notice it, or not at the beginning, but like right after the beginning, because that's when they're gonna notice it, right? If that makes sense, but that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying. Number 2, you know where to position. It's pretty easy. You kind of just follow Stray, but then when to be aggressive. So when okay, that was terrible. W to be A. When to be aggressive. Beautiful. Should get that tattooed on you somewhere.
Yeah, full take.
Do this faster.
Whoops.
And then hold
Whoops.
them completely.
And then 3, no longer your teammates are. Where team. Okay. So those are the 3 things I'm noticing right now that need to be improved in order for you to get better. This is crucial because of like we saw first point King's Row, where everybody got shattered because you had used your abilities aggressively, right? And you didn't lose point or anything, but you should have, and people should have died. But this team that we faced was just really bad. When to be aggressive, same kind of point. These 2 are pretty similar. This kind of goes along the lines of timing on shields. This goes on like when to shield. And then here, especially where Ryan is, you need to be next to Ryan pretty much at all times. You guys need to be like one single character. And then where your teammates are just in general, so that if they do get in trouble, you can shield them and you'll know exactly where they are, and you can flick to them and find them and shield them at the right time. Okay? Yeah? Yeah? So, pretty good. Could be better. That's all I'm gonna say.